We are in the middle of a Middle-earth pop-up book. Does this evoke some strong memories in you?
It really does. This is Bayon's house, which we shot quite early in the shoot. Some of it was on location in a place called Paradise, and this set was actually in one of the sound stages. And as we were just saying, it's one of my favourite sets, one of my favourite characters from the book.
Following the success of The Hobbit and now coming back, in between, or even now, do you maintain your anonymity? I mean, I know you've got other projects and you're known for other work, but people who are new to you because of The Hobbit, do you get recognized?
No, and it's sort of a blessing and a curse, because it's a blessing that I can go be in the street and people don't recognize me, but also when I go in search of other work, people don't connect the two people, the me and him. But I quite like that. I mean, that's what attracted me to the role, was the complete physical and emotional transformation that was going to happen.
The king is angry, Talia. For 600 years my father has protected you, favored you. You defied his orders. You betrayed his trust. Dangolonanin, Negohenatha.
Uohenathan. Kidad wenithan uohenathanim.
You've expressed a little trepidation that Tauriel, not being an actual J.R.R. Tolkien character, is created for this Hobbit trilogy. I think Tauriel kicks ass, and I think she deserves her own spin-off movie, personally.
Right. I like that idea.
What do you think of that, and what do you think fans will think when this movie comes out?
Well, I think what was interesting is the Star Wars trilogy that I watched when I was a kid, of course, is pure and sacred and shouldn't be touched. And then recently, of course, they went back and did the prequel 3 films for the Star Wars trilogy, and I watched those and I thought they were an abomination. No offense to whoever made them, but I couldn't swallow them. And what was fascinating was that there are multiple generations of children and young teens and teeny boppers who had never seen the first iteration and who prefer the first 3 films to the final 3 films. And I think that that's one of the things I keep in mind when it comes to Tauriel, is that there is a whole lot of people out there who are not purists or who have never even read the book, and what they want is an entertaining piece of film.
Sure.
And when you make an adaptation, of course, you have to please your current audience. You can't be true exactly to the word verbatim, and so hopefully we please the audience with Tauriel.
Well, I can say with complete confidence that you are not the Jar Jar Binks of the Hobbit trilogy.
Thank God.
You're not the Jar Jar Binks.
Thank you.
Of course, you're playing a fire-breathing dragon in this movie.
One does.
How does one get in the mindset?
How does one research this? Well, the fire breathing is very tricky unless you're a street performer, I suppose, with a history of that. But no, I did what good drama students and actors do. I went to the zoo, I did my animal studies. I looked at Komodo dragons and serpents and bats as well, because of his wings, and snakes and everything that he's an amalgamation of, I guess. And I don't know, we kind of grow up a little bit with dragons. We grow up a little bit with Tolkien. We grow up a bit with The Hobbit. My dad read it to me when I was a kid, so that was, I guess, the first bit of research before the zoo. He's a great actor, and I must have been 6 or 7 before I went away to school, and he characterized it so beautifully, so richly, that it without doubt sowed a seed. And he was the first person I told when I got the job, and he was very excited.
Did your son see you in your complete makeup, and what was his reaction?
Well, when I started work, my son was 3 months old, and I was still nursing. So my partner would bring him to set. Between takes, I would go out and I would nurse, and mostly at lunch usually, because he was old enough to nurse less. And the first time I tried to nurse him, I was wearing the ears and the wig and the makeup and the full costume, and he lost his mind. He was screaming with terror. He wouldn't go near me. He wouldn't latch. He wanted nothing to do with me. And then that night when I went home and nursed him, and I'd taken everything off and I was myself again, it was like nothing had happened. He nursed and everything was fine. And I remember watching him nurse thinking, your internal monologue must be, Mom, you would not believe what happened to me today. This crazy elf lady with flaming red hair tried to nurse me, and I wouldn't let her, Mom. I wouldn't let her come near me. So it was a bizarre experience, but he got used to it. And now whenever he sees Tauriel, even a tiny little JPEG of Tauriel on my computer screen or something, he goes, Mommy, that's Mommy.
Oh, he's making the connection.
Yeah,
That's
he knows it's me.
This is Bayon's set, the skin changer. So no, I only popped in one day just to have a look, because I remember them. They had the big Highland cows in the studio. These enormous animals with big horns. just walking around the set, which was quite funny.
Right. Had you been to New Zealand before?
Nope, never. New Zealand is just a special place. The people are very special, and there's so much to do on your time off when you're there. So.
What were some of the things that you guys did when, you know, they called martini? Do you guys grab grog? What exactly do you do?
Well, if I had more than like a few days off, I'd go somewhere. And one day, I had a week off at one point, and I travelled down to the South Island from Wellington over on the ferry, and then down the west coast, and then went all the way down to a glacier, and then took a helicopter to the top of the glacier, hiked around, went into an ice cave, and then another time Aidan Turner and I jumped out of a plane at 16,500 feet.
Is this the kind of stuff that you don't tell the publicists?
At the time, yeah. You don't tell the producers until after you've finished shooting the movie. Yes. Otherwise they get a little bit angry.
During the course of shooting, there was a bit of a sexy dwarf calendar that was put together. Were you involved in that, and were you a mastermind of that little calendar?
Graham McTavish seems to think that it was his idea, but it was a collaboration between myself and him. I had a crazy idea for a dwarf calendar where, because at one point we were going to show a bit of Thorin's body, and so I started having a body cast, and then they realized they couldn't do it. And so we began to have a discussion about what a naked dwarf would look like, because we were wearing ridiculous fat suits underneath. So we thought we might expose those for a photo shoot.
Is this available? Will this ever become available?
It was one of the conditions of doing it. I said there must only ever be one of these printed, and it's for Peter. It was a birthday gift for Peter, and there's only one in existence. He may choose to share that one day, but it certainly won't be in publication.